hazard out there for everybody, but
It's all
It's
good.
okay. Hop on in.
I thought you guys were just practicing.
Oh, hop on in. Let's do it.
Cool.
Let me change it to automatic then, so it'll be.
So welcome to the second edition of race number 12 here at the Over30Clan for season number 6 of our Forza Winter Series. I'm your host, Over30, taking you through the festivities. Today we have a full stack of drivers. We're just getting things set up and finalized here, and we'll be getting the show on the road shortly. We are in the pits with the drivers right now. They're just kind of chatting, so I will unmute myself so we can have some conversations with them prior to the race. We should be starting the race in about 4 minutes or so, and tonight is Sebring International Raceway, so it should be a fun race. So sit back, relax, and I saved you from the Weeb stuff that was streaming before. I heard that might have been a problem for some of the viewers who were tuned in a bit early. But yeah, Forza all the time tonight. So let's zoom back in with the drivers here.
Dude, my wheel is in the next room.
Use the
Controller.
Use the controller.
I will be driving it backwards, fucking with you guys, if I use that damn controller.
Alright, I got the race set up. I'm going to the grid now.
All right,
Besides, Black just gave me something to do.
And we're live on my end, on the pre-show.
all right, thank you. Del Rey and Cold are up front,
Okay.
and then Butts and myself,
Oh, it's Black Dad.
and Kev and you,
Hmm.
and then Guns will bring up the rear along with Reaper, and Daddy.
Okay. Delray Cold, Butts, Black, Kev.
We have a pace
me,
lap.
Then Dadu Guns. Here we go.
You can
Yeah,
get in
guns,
here and
we
spectate.
do a 60 mile per hour pace lap, basically.
Well, I'm sure I'll be behind you guys on that.
Just stick behind the person ahead of you.
Yep.
Did we grow some drivers this evening?
we
Oh,
did.
yeah. Yeah, Reaper and Guns showed up.
Oh, look at that.
I was here
Oh,
yesterday.
Welcome.
Vinny wasn't here last night? I thought he was.
I was.
Oh, well, you're so forgettable.
We had six drivers last night.
Alright, boys, time to ready up.
All right, guys, good luck. I will switch to the main camera, and we'll look at this on the go.
Hey,
All right,
Guns.
thanks.
There we go. Got it.
Alright, sounds good.
All right, very good. So we're just getting set up here. So just a reminder, this is a 21-lap race. First lap will be a pace lap. We do have all the assists turned off except for ABS braking. And we do allow braking line to allow some newer drivers who are just getting into racing with us in a particular season, the ability to have a bit of a fighting chance, as you will, be a bit more competitive. So we do allow that braking line to be turned on. We do have fuel simulation as well and collision turned on as well. So obviously you can run out of gas. We do require all the drivers to pit at least once throughout the race. So there's one requirement for a pit at some point throughout the race. That's at the driver's discretion. And we do have penalties turned on as well for track cutting and for collisions and other things like that as well. So the drivers can incur some time penalties based on their offenses on the track. So it should be a fun race today. This is our second attempt at it. We did have some Xbox issues last night with the Xbox Online Services going down at race lap number 7 of our 21 lap race. So it was like 1/3 of the way into the race. So we are off again, just doing the pace lap here. I'll drop back to Centurio Butts here in third, just so we can get a better view of the field. Actually, we'll drop back one more to GKev here in fourth. Now, last race, we got to keep an eye on GKev because last race he did very quickly, within about a quarter lap, actually bolt himself to the front. Black was involved in 2 separate collisions, so we had a lot of very exciting things. Del Rey looking to cut off Centurio Butts there. We cannot seem to get one single clean pace lap in all season. But fingers crossed, maybe tonight will be the night. I don't know if they want to get a pace lap in that's clean. I think they like to kind of screw around before, but technically the penalties are occurring. So anyone who cuts the track or has a collision or whatever can actually incur penalties during the pace lap. So you don't want to be messing around too much because it could actually hurt you pretty heavily throughout the race. This track is about a 2-minute 20-second lap time. We did see a couple drivers' fastest drive times being at or lap times being at 2:19 yesterday. So this will be about a 45-minute race in its totality. So Centura Butts going off the track a little bit there. Vidaxian in his sheriff's car. Just a reminder, we are taking a look at GCAF here. There's Black Death and his... I'm not sure what Black Death is driving, actually. Let's take a look. Okay, yeah. Stingray. That's what I thought. Beautiful looking car. So, go back to GCAF here, currently in 5th. It's a very interesting track. It's a pretty fast track. Fairly long track. It's got some really tough turns. Bunch of straightaways, so I think acceleration is going to be key. Alright, coming around the final bend of our pace lap. Getting ready for lap number 2 in the first real lap of this 20-lap race. About 3 points separates first from 4th place in the season, so it's very tight point standings for the entire season, so we could see some major upsets tonight. Vindaxian, who's further in the back, is our current season point leader. Black Death is within striking distance, and Tierra Butts as well. GCAV, who we're watching right now, and we're off. Vindati looking to get up there ASA frickin' P. Slams right into Centurio Butts as he's not able to brake as aggressively as Centurio Butts was. Centurio Butts managing to hold on, continuing his first place haul. GCAV not far behind. Let's jump back to Black Death here, currently in 4th place. He was involved in 2 collisions last night, so we'll see if he's able to stay out of the wall. And his fellow drivers as well. GCAV and Centura Butts trading a bit of paint there. So very aggressive start for a lot of drivers. These all these drivers in the front now are the ones within striking distance of first place for the season, so they are going to be very aggressive tonight as GCAV has taken this inside turn and looking to take Centura Butts, who is quick on the throttle and pulls away just a hair, so avoiding that overtake by GCAV. GCAV still hot on his heels. You got Black Death here coming up in the rear. Like that, just sliding around that turn. So we still have a very tight pack tonight. Only a few seconds separates first from 5th place. Only 2 seconds separates first from 7th. So everyone's pretty tightly packed here. Come around the last bend of the first lap. We have Centuria Butts in front in first place. GCAV in 2nd, Black Death in 3rd. We got Vindaxian in 4th, Outcold in 5th, Vindati in 6th, Delray in 7th, and Guns in 8th place. Just taking a peek at Guns is driving, a good old Ferrari 512. Let's pop back up to to Black Death here in third. So a little bit of a turn of events tonight. So last night, GKev was very quickly out in front and off like a dart, had a considerable lead going into lap number 7, and then the Xbox services crashed on us. Black Death was involved in 2 separate collisions, adding about 5.5 seconds to his time, but we've scrapped that race completely because of Xbox, and we're replaying tonight. GKev is now trailing Centurion Butts. Black Death is in 3rd place. So, you know, quite the change of Daxian in 4th. So we got all the race leaders, all the season point leaders in first to 4th place right now. So depending on the standings tonight, we can see major upset in the point totals. Only 3 points separate 1st and 4th this season. I'll check back in with these gentlemen in just a moment. We do seem to have a bit of a fight here out cold. Looking to make a move on Vindatu, possibly. Right on his heels. Looked like he has the acceleration ahead of him, but just not the control. Hits the dirt, loses a bit of momentum, comes into the side of Vindatu, almost takes him off the track, comes to a complete halt. Delray just barely misses him. So, this is not the type of aggressive you want to see. But we do have a lot of race left, so if you're going to make a mistake like that, might as well make it on lap number 3. As we go back to Black Death here. We've got a little bit more careful driving from the top leaders. A lot is at stake between the 1st and 4th place here. Centurion Butch, DCAT, Black Death, and Vindaxian, who's currently in 4th place. So best lap time is from GKev at 2:20. We did see a 2:19 last night by lap number 7, so keep an eye out for that. But they are driving pretty fast, pretty competitively. Vindaxian still holding on to 4th place. A little bit far behind, but still very early. Let's pop up to GKev. Driving very aggressively against Centurion Butts. I think he's looking for his opportune moment to possibly pass. As he hit the straightaway, Centurion Butts appears to be pulling ahead. So we have everyone that's spread out quite considerably, so we'll check in with some of the drivers. We've got Vindatu currently in 5th place. He's driving the 1971 AMC Javelin. We have a lot of variety on the cars tonight. So he comes around his final turn, hits the wall there for no apparent reason. Manages to hold on. Delray is coming around the last turn of lap number 5. Or lap number 4, I should say. The 1968 Alfa Romero. Just flying down the track. I do see Black Death. So they are bunching up a little bit. Let's drop over to Vindaxian, currently in 4th place here. Sorry for jumping around so much. I just want to make sure that we don't miss any major events here. So Vindaxian currently in 4th, is trailing Black, currently in 3rd place. So 2:19.77s from Centurio Robots, so an excellent fast lap time. We saw that as our fastest lap time yesterday, so let's take the car stuff off, the player info off. There we go. So if it doesn't crash, I'm just going to bring up the point totals here. See where we're at. So the season is 12 total races. All of our drivers have the ability to drop 2 of their worst races off the point total. So if we actually adjust for best points so far, and if we look at season point total, Vindaxian is currently in 1st place, GCav in 2nd, Black Death in 1st, Ventura Butts in 4th. We have less than 5 points separating 4th from 1st place. Only 4 points separating 1st and 2nd. So we do have Vindaxian leading with 63 points. GCav in 2nd with 59. So we just need a good showing tonight in order to clutch first. Black Death will need an absolute miracle of 55 points, about 8 points back. And Centurio Butts 5 points back. Alright, so let's jump up to Black Death here, currently in 3rd. Ooh, Centurio Butts looks like he is making a move on GCav. So GCav did switch places with Centurio Butts earlier as we were looking at the point totals. They are brawling for 1st place here. GCav barely holding on. Centurio Butts looking to make a move on the inside right now and passing GCav. We're going to have to take a look at the penalties there. There was a bit of paint rubbing. I wonder if any of them occurred any time penalties. But we have Centurio Butts now leading GCav right on his ass. As you can see, smashing directly into his bumper. It's just a little love tap there. Oh, another love tap. Centurio Butts managing to hold on. Got the sign on the track. So let's pop back to GCav, currently in 2nd place. And I guess for all that commotion, Black Death was able to catch up as well. So Black Death is now in the mix. Vindaxian is honing in as well in 4th place. So the field has tightened here between 1st and 4th. Quite considerably. Let's actually pop back to Black Death, get a better view of the field. Again, Black Death is pretty close behind. So Vindaxian look like he's possibly making some moves here. Let's actually jump back to Vindaxian, currently in 4th place, trailing Black Death. So the field has definitely tightened here in lap number 7. Much more competitive race. So we got quarter-second penalties from some of the drivers on the board there. Top lap time is 2:19. About 4 seconds trails between first and fourth. Let's pop back up to Centero Butts here, who's still fighting with GKev. Looking to take GKev on the inside, almost slamming into his left bumper. Having to put the brakes on a little early to avoid that collision. With Guns opting to do his mandatory pit pretty early in the race, lap number 8. He's coming out of the pits now. So we got quite the battle between GKev and Centero Butts. Terabot seems to have some acceleration on GKev. I think his brakes on early there. Putting pressure on GKev. I think we may have had a small collision between Black Death and Vidaxian back there, it appeared. Not 100% sure on that one. Just on the mini-map there, it looked like there might have been a bit of hold-up. Butts appears to have the momentum now needed to possibly pass GKev here on the inside. GKev looking to box him out. Trading a little bit of paint there with the back right bumper. Butts taking it sharp on the inside. Seeing if he can use this flat piece of track to his advantage. Manages to pull ahead of GKev. GKev dropping back to second place. Let's pop back to GKev right now so we can get a better look. GKev looking like he's being incredibly aggressive here. Wanting to reclaim back that #1 position. Centero Butts appears to have the acceleration needed to stay ahead of GKev. GKev looking for any opportunity, cuts the track, unable to get in front of Centero Butts. He might actually incur a bit of a penalty for that. That was a pretty bad track cut. I'll have to take a look at the penalties there, see if he occurred any. But he was just trying to do anything he could to try to get in front of Centero Butts there. Playing back first place, so he's looking for anything he can do to get in front of him. So we'll check back with these two lovebirds in just a moment. Let's back up to Black Death. He's still trailing behind Vindaxian. Well, actually, Vindaxian managed to pass Black Death a little while ago. He must have missed that as well. So Vindaxian now in 3rd place. Black Death in 4th place. Vindadu trailing in 5th. Delray and Out Cold are battling for 6th place. And Guns appears to have possibly broken down there on the side of the track. GKF still being very aggressive here with Centurio Butts. Hot on his heels. As we finish up lap number 9, so we're almost halfway through the race tonight. Xbox Live Services seems to be holding up. Centurio Butts still leading the best lap time with 2:19.77. With a 7-second interval between 1st and 4th. I feel like anything can happen. GKev and Centurio Butts are being very aggressive with one another, and they could screw up both of their plans if you know, they do something they shouldn't and push each other off the track or hit a wall. Could open up the track for Black Death and Vindadu, or Vindaxian, who are currently trailing in 3rd and 4th. Let's pop back to Black Death here. He's making a bit of ground on Vindaxian. Still in a very comfortable 4th place. So none of the top 4 drivers opting to pit quite yet. Officially halfway through the race now, lap number 11. Butts leading the lap time at 2:19.18 with an, I don't think was a clean lap. 2:19.77 is still the clean lap. Guns off the side of the road here in 8th place, having some car troubles, I believe. Spot back up to GKev. They've been fighting with Centurio Butts for the entire race, and they've been trading positions all match. Some very aggressive driving for both of them. Some minor collisions, some paint rubbing, but they both managed to stay on the track. Pretty aggressive lines from GCAV here, trying to get any sort of advantage on Centurion Butts as he can. Centurion Butts driving very excellent. Centurion Butts cutting those corners. Both drivers, both Centurion Butts and GCAV, opting to pit at the same time. Barely avoiding a collision in the pits there. Allowing Vindaxi to take first place, at least temporarily, until he opts to pit as well. I think we have Black Death pitting as well. So I think half of the field have opted to pit here on lap number 12. Vindaxi now in first place as we switch over to the out cold here. Just wondering if these guys are also going to opt to pit here on lap number 11. Or I should say they're lap 11. And they will not be. So we have a bit of a shake-up. Half the drivers have opted to pit. GCAV still hot on the heels of Centurion Butts, so they didn't lose any time in those pits. Get a minute 25 on Centurion, or 1.25 seconds on Centurion Butts penalties. Saw that flash up there. So the two drivers in first place, Vindaxi and Vendadu, first and second, have not pitted yet. So they should drop back. Vindaxi may be using this time and space to go around the track as quickly as possible and maybe make up some lost time. Vindaxi now we had this happen last night. Hopefully it doesn't drop us. Oh, and we're back. As I was saying, Vindaxi and driving, 2-minute 20-second lap times, very strong lap times. Have to start shaving off some seconds in order to make up some time if he's looking to possibly take over after he pits. So take a look at Vindaxi here in first place. He's opting not to pit quite yet. We take a look at his fuel. We'll see that he is sitting at... Oops, come on. Telemetry. Here we are. It's not letting me switch between them. Okay. Good old Forza. Let's turn the telemetry off. Let's turn the ticker back on. Map back on. There we are. GCAV seemed to have caught up to Centurion Butts quite aggressively. Let's see if he's looking to possibly pass him. Centurion Butts still holding on to first place. GCAV unable to find an opportunity to pass quite yet. Seven laps to go here. Vendadu and Vindaxi have not pitted. So Guns is in a current do not finish state. I think he had some car troubles. Has officially dropped out of the race. We're down to 7 drivers. Let's flip over to Vindaxi and see if he's opting to pit yet, and if he's able to make up some time. Not opting. Yeah, it is opting to pit. Okay. Not a very quick pit entry. We'll see if he's able to retain any of his position. So he should be dropping back to 4th place. So we have Vindadu also opting to pit here. So the vast majority, I think pretty much everyone now has pitted. We'll see how close Vindaxian is to Centero Butts and GCAV, who are passing him. If he's able to retain a competitive 3rd place position, it looks like he will. So he did make up a little bit of space and time from before he pitted to after, so I think that strategy of leading and driving alone for a little while worked out well for him, as he is now in a very competitive 3rd place, which is right behind GCAV, with 6.5 laps to go. So fire up to GCAV here. GCAV and Centero Butts are still fighting for that 1st place position. Centero Butts has been leading for the past, I'd say, about 4 or 5 laps now. They were trading positions there for the first few laps of the race, but 7 laps. I think they've settled into a 1st and 2nd position. Let's take a look at the penalty times here. Oh, I kicked you out. That sucks, man. Centero Butts still leading. Best lap time of 2:19.77 clean. Only 1 second separates 1st and 2nd. The Over30Clan community has a Over30 series here, yes. So we are a community dedicated to the Over30 gamers of the world, the pre-internet humans, if you will. Coin up, feeding, Mario Kart loving. 8-bit Atari playing, pre-internet humans. I will take that as tears of joy there, ISIM Julian. So this is a we do 2 series a year of Forza 7. Each season is 12 races long. We're currently running our 12th and final race of the winter season, season number 6. Centero Butts, GCAV, Vindaxian, and Black Death currently 1st and 4th place are all in striking distance. Well, luckily we can remove 2 of your worst races, so there you go. So you have 0 do-not finishes. It happens. It's unfortunate. Forza 7 and Microsoft are fickle beasts. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's all good. I mean, it sucks. It just sucks that you're not able to race, right? Like, who cares what position you're at? It just sucks that they just end your race like that because of small networking blip. We had some major issues with this game first few seasons that we did this. We were having major disconnect issues, drivers dropping all over the place, but they've since made it a bit more stable, but it can still be very fickle. So Vindaxian and Black Death have dropped back to a comfortable 3rd and 4th position, respectively. Still a fight here between Centero Butts and GCAV. We're coming down to our final 5 laps. So if GCAV is going to make a move, he's going to have to make it soon. I think pretty much everyone on the track is now pitted. Transmission damage? I don't think so. Let's take a look at his... These are heavily tuned cars, so they do have some very high gear ratios in some of them. So that could be what you hear when they rev really high for a longer period of time. I don't think there's any transmission damage, but I think there's a telemetry. I think I can see damage. Yeah, so we got some tire wear, but pretty much everything's hunky dory. So no wear on the transmission or the driveline. Just the crazy gear ratios that they like to run. God, I've been doing this for how long? There we go, ticker. Jesus. Yeah, it's just a really high gear ratio. Fun fact, a lot of race cars actually are meant to run, like, really high rev. A lot of the drivers do run with wheels and opt for a manual transmission as well, so they are choosing when to shift. But you can push these cars pretty hard. It's coming around the final turn here, lap number 16. We have 4 laps remaining. Still a competitive first and second. We have Indaxi in a comfortable third, Black Death in a comfortable fourth. Ndadu comfortable fifth position. Yeah, we have a bit of a tune master in our community, Vindaxian, who currently in third place. He is a mad scientist when it comes to tuning cars, and the vast majority of the drivers in our community leverage Vindaxian's tunes or leverage his expertise when they design their tune. He has a lot of cool calculations and things like that that he uses to help drivers tune in their cars to the best of their ability, and a lot of that has to do with the gear ratios. I wouldn't be surprised if Indaxian's one of the better tuners in this game, period, to be quite honest. He's got to be up there in the top 10 for sure. Very, very skilled tuner. We are very helpful community as well, so we do encourage helping new drivers and trying to get people up to speed as quickly as possible. So we want these races to be competitive. We want more drivers to play in them. It's nice when we have, up 8, sometimes 10. Some seasons we've had 12 drivers, which is pretty incredible. We started this season with 12, but we had some people who were unable to commit to every Friday, but it is what it is. So I keep missing the penalties here. I gotta make, there we go. So Centurion Butts is a 1.25 second, so half second penalty separates Centurion Butts and GKev. GKev is only 1 second back, so just based on penalties alone, if GKev remains running a very clean race, he could potentially take Centurion Butts, his first place position, basically just from penalties. So he doesn't necessarily need to risk passing him, he just needs to be within 1 second of him. And I believe he is trailing by about that amount. Give myself a drop from... Oh, we're still good. Yeah, I don't know if it was in a previous Forza race, but there's another earlier racing game that Vindaxian played where he was paid by a lot of drivers to help him consult around their tunes specifically in his younger years. He plays this, I think, the only competitive races he does really are for the Over30Clan stuff, but... Very skilled tuner. At least the most skilled in our community, so... He's a genius at every racing game that he's ever obsessed with. Because he'll learn the nuts and bolts. He'll build formulas for it. Like he has a formula on how to set springs and yeah, really some really cool stuff, but it works out well for a lot of our drivers. So lap number 19 here, so 2 3/4 lap remain. 2 3/4 laps, yeah, remain. So getting close here. GKev, if he is going to push Centura Butts, is going to have to be very aggressive. Not much track remains here. Again, he doesn't need to actually pass him in order to take first place. He just needs to be within 1 second of Centura Butts is finished, although Centura Butts is pulling ahead quite considerably here. So Centura Butts is running a higher acceleration car, and GKev is running a bit more of a nimble car. So we see GKev catching up on the more complex turns within the track, and then Centura Butts taking off in the straightaways. Vindaxian in 3rd place, Black Death in a comfortable 4th, Vindadiu in 5th, Del Rey in a distant 6th, out cold, challenging him in 7th. Centura Butts still holding the top lap time of 2:19.77. Very clean race, a big step up from yesterday. So if you are just joining us tonight, we did actually have this scheduled to race last night, but Xbox Online Services were giving us a problem and actually kicked all the drivers out of the race on lap number 7, so we opted to cancel that race and redo it tonight. But yesterday we had, by lap number 7, we had 2 separate collisions that took out 2 drivers, about 10 seconds total in penalty times. It was quite the race, so a much cleaner race tonight. 2 laps remain here. Centura Butts pulling well ahead of that 1 second mark that's needed for GKev to take first place. We'll have to just keep an eye on the penalties. I don't think they've occurred any since last time we checked, but there was about a half-second difference between Centura Butts and... Yeah, Centura Butts is a 1.25 second penalty. GKev is a 0.75 second penalty, so about half a second separates first and second in certain terms of penalties. So Centura Butts, in order to take first place, will have to lead by at least half a second. So GKev doesn't need to necessarily pass him. Oh, Centura Butts is having a bit of trouble staying on the track there, giving GKev the ability to completely catch up. So this now changes things quite considerably, as GKev is now right on the ass of Centura Butts. That lead, almost 1 full second lead, erased. GKev is looking like he has the desire to pounce here, trading a little bit of paint with Centura Butts. Not sure if he's going to get a penalty for that. It's pretty minor. So not sure what happened there, but Centura Butts, I think, took a turn a little bit too sharp. Maybe his tires are just a little bit too worn out, and GKev being very aggressive on the inside, pushing Centura Butts almost right off the track. Centura Butts having none of it, though, reclaiming back that first place position. Almost a pit move, almost taking Centura Butts completely off the track. Centura Butts managing to hold on. GKev inching in front, taking this turn a little bit too wide, though, giving Centura Butts the opportunity to take him on the inside. So some very aggressive driving here with only a lap and a half to go. GKev slamming into the back left bumper. Like, what the heck is going on? With only a lap and a half remaining. GKev and Centura Butts are fighting to the absolute death. Are we playing Forza 7 or Wreckfest? He's barely avoiding another collision there. Centura Butts is definitely more aggressive on the braking than GKev wants to be. GKev just looking for that opportunity to pass at any moment. can hear his pit crew just screaming at him through the radio to not completely destroy the vehicle with only a lap remaining. Neither of them can afford another pit here on lap 21, so... Alright, so that changes things a little bit. We're going to have to take a look at the penalties as they come up, see if there's been any change between Centuro Butts and GCAV. Alright, so the penalties have evened out slightly, so Centuro Butts is only a quarter second ahead on penalties, so GCAV will pretty much need to either be within a bumper of Centuro Butts as they cross the line, or pass him in order to claim first place. So GCAV will have to be much more aggressive, which is a scary thought here with only 3/4 lap to go. GCAV looking to take Centuro Butts on the inside. Centuro Butts managing to hold on. I mean, kudos for Centuro Butts for staying on the track after all this abuse that he is getting from GCAV. Is just looking for any sliver of space to just squeeze in there. So anything can happen here. We're about halfway through. A third of the way through the final lap. So about 2/3 of the track remain. Right? Well, I think they both have different braking points. I think GCAV has a much more aggressive brake setup than Centuro Butts does. So Centuro Butts brakes a bit earlier than GCAV. GCAV manages to slam into Centuro. It's kind of hard not to get a bit of tunnel vision when you're this close to first place and only half a track remain. Right, the pressure is definitely on. Centuro Butts there pulling ahead, a bit more comfortable. GCAV about a minute and a half or 1.5 seconds behind our leader here. Only 1/3 of the track remains. Centuro Butts is out in front. GCAV. Not sure if he'll have enough time and space here. Centuro Butts does excel on the straightaway, so he is pulling ahead ever so slightly. I'll have to check in with these drivers what was going through their mind the last two laps. So, as they come around the last turn here, Centuro Butts, assuming that he doesn't get struck in by God, will be first place. GCAV comes in second. Vindaxian in third. Black Death taking his last corner here in fourth place. Let's take a look at him as he crosses the line. Vindadu in fifth. We have Delray and Out Cold still fighting for 6 and 7. So let's actually take a look at Out Cold here as he as they finish up their last half of lap. Having a little bit of battle here in the end. So Delray appears to be in a comfortable 6th place. And Out Cold should trail him in 7th, unless Out Cold here is being... Nope, so I think, yeah, Delray will maintain his 6th place position, Out Cold in 7th. Very cool. So let's check in with the drivers here.
I think it helped a lot that you fixed your car since yesterday.
So it wasn't just
Control
completely
it.
lighting up the tires coming out of the corner.
So what were you guys doing the last 2 laps there, GCAV and Butts?
Oh, he was just getting the cold trickle.
He just kept getting in your way, eh?
Yeah. Rubbin's racing.
Over and over again. But no, I managed to hold on, so yeah, congratulations, Butts.
Thank you.
On that.
That was an awesome race.
It was
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
It's very good. So what does that mean for the... Black, are you doing the final tally for the season? By
Yep, I
chance,
am
any
right
points?
now.
Alright, cool.
Cool gets 2, Delray gets 3. Vindadu got 4 points.
Good racing, guys.
I
Good
got
race.
This
5.
whole season had really good races.
Vendaxian got
Yeah, I'm
6.
impressed. A lot of
Kev
players have
got
gained skill.
7.
Very fast race there. We had 5 people running very, very good lap times.
Where do these 219s and 220s rank up against the?
Oh my god. It's a tie for second.
Oh, really?
Yep, Butts and Kev with 66 points. Vedaxian wins with 69.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Alps.
So when you look at leaderboards, there's a lot of broken cars that players use where they put ridiculous amount of power traction control, and the traction controls just lit up and working around the whole track. If you do that, the cars aren't reliable for races, but you can run better lap times. For real cars, I think the fastest times are like 2:16-ish,
Yeah.
and my fastest practice lap with real car 2:17.1, so that was pretty close.
Yeah, 2:19.77 I think was the record tonight. GCav and Centura Butts bashed themselves into a 2:24 on lap number 19.
1975.
So you got the final count there, Black?
Yep, that is the final countdown in the Forza channel. And it's also in the spreadsheet, and I just saved it. So first place, Vendaxian, tied for second, Centurial Butts and Kev. I come in third, then Vendadu, Lad, Del Rey, Bono, Fat, Bam, Cold, Euphoria, Noble, Guns, and John. Gotcha.
You raced one race.
Yep, John in race 1, Guns race 2, Noble race 1, Euphoria race 2.
And that concludes season 6.
Season 6 is in the books. So, have to get your new address and ship you your prize.
Oh, me? All right.
Yeah.
What's the prize? Is it a
You'll
surprise?
see. You'll see when it
Oh,
shows
okay.
up.
Thrustmaster.
He will misspell your name if your name's on it.
Then I'll go to my neighbor.
And you'll get the positions all screwed up.
My neighbor will probably glue it to his mailbox to piss me off.
Very good. Well, congratulations, Vendaxian, for the season winner. And
Thanks.
Congrats.
great job on
Thanks for
tying
all
for second
tunes,
place,
too.
guys.
No problem.
Yeah.
So I'll sign off here, but that was a fantastic finish. I mean, not quite as explosive as last night. looking at you, Black Death. You managed to avoid all collisions tonight.
Yeah, I wrecked 2 people yesterday, and I came out with my first clean race of the season tonight.
Barry's disappointed in you, I
Yeah,
think.
no
Black.
penalties, nothing. The first time ever.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna sign off, and then I'll join back with you guys. One second.
All right.
So thank you guys for checking us out. This is the end of season 6 of Vendaxian taking first place, so he'll be given a awesome prize from the Over30Clan, which is fantastic. But thank you guys for checking us out. New season will start in a few months. We'll have something announced on Twitter probably in a month or so. So please feel free to check in. Again, we do 2 seasons per year, and we do 12 races a season. So hopefully see you guys again. We're considering possibly changing games as well. We might go with a bit more of a racing sim than Forza 7. We're not quite convinced on that yet, but we'll keep you guys posted. But feel free to check us out. We do stream other things on this clan channel and host many of our clan members. So if you're interested in checking us out, feel free to check us out at Over30Clan USA on Twitch. You can check us out at over30clan.com if you'd like to join, if you're over the age of 30 and like to game with the other adults who have same commitments and children and wives like you do. And then feel free to check us out, and hopefully we'll see you guys again. So thank you again for checking us out, and Price signing off.